The moment my own son looked me in the eyes and said, "Dad, the doctors don't think you have much time left," something inside me went silent. I wanted to believe him. He was my son. Why wouldn't I? Looking back now, that single sentence almost cost me everything I had spent my entire life building. Before I tell you what happened, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to Family Betrayal. Stories like mine remind people that betrayal doesn't always come from strangers. Also, the faces, photos, and scenes you see in this video are simply visual illustrations to help tell the story. They're not meant to represent the real people involved. I was 72, widowed for 6 years, and living alone in the house my wife and I had worked decades to pay off. My son, Eric, visited more often after my wife's funeral. At first, I thought grief had finally brought us closer. He brought groceries, helped around the yard, and insisted on driving me to my appointments. Then everything changed. One afternoon, he came home from one of my doctor's visits looking pale. He sat across from me with tears in his eyes. "Dad, the doctor told me not to upset you, but you deserve to know." My heart started racing. "You've got serious heart failure. They don't expect you to live much longer." I couldn't even breathe. He hugged me while I cried into his shoulder. From that day on, he handled everything. My medications, my mail, my bank statements, even my phone. He kept saying stress would make my condition worse. I stopped questioning him because fear is a powerful prison. Looking back, I realized something that still makes me sick. I never once heard those words from my actual doctor. I only heard them from my son, and I believed every single one. Within weeks, Eric convinced me to prepare for the inevitable. He said probate would be expensive, lawyers would waste my money. If I truly loved my grandchildren, I should transfer everything while I was still alive. The house, my investment accounts, the family cabin, even the savings my wife and I had built over 45 years. Every conversation ended the same way. "Dad, don't make your last month stressful." I felt scared all the time. Every small pain convinced me death was getting closer. Then strange things started happening. Bills stopped arriving. My neighbors said they hadn't seen me outside in weeks. When friends called, Eric answered and told them I was too weak to talk. I felt isolated, but I blamed my illness. One evening, I accidentally overheard Eric laughing on the phone. "He still thinks he's dying," he said. My stomach dropped. Before I could hear more, he noticed me standing there. His smile disappeared. He immediately hugged me and claimed he was joking with a coworker. I wanted to believe him, but doubt had finally entered my mind. Tell me honestly, if your own child told you something terrifying about your health, would you question them? I decided I needed answers. The next morning, while Eric ran an errand, I quietly called my doctor's office myself. The receptionist sounded confused. "Mr. Carter, your annual checkup is tomorrow." Annual checkup? My hands started shaking. Eric had told me I had already been diagnosed weeks earlier. So if I hadn't even seen my doctor yet, who had been telling me I was dying? I hung up the phone just as I heard Eric's truck pulling into the driveway. That night, I barely slept. Every conversation replayed inside my head. Every document Eric had asked me to sign suddenly felt dangerous. The next morning, he insisted on driving me to my appointment like always. This time I paid attention. He never parked near the medical building. Instead, he left me sitting in the truck for nearly 30 minutes while claiming the doctor was running behind. Then he came back, carrying a folded piece of paper. "The doctor confirmed everything," he whispered. "You should probably start signing the estate paperwork this week." I reached for the paper. He pulled it away. "You don't need to see all the medical terms." That was the moment I knew. I opened the truck door anyway. "I'll walk inside." His face turned white. He tried stopping me. "Dad, you're too weak." But I ignored him. Inside the clinic, the receptionist smiled. "You're right on time." Minutes later, my doctor walked into the exam room. He looked completely confused. "Eric said you've been receiving updates through him." The room went silent. "I've never told anyone you're dying," the doctor said firmly. "In fact, your heart condition is stable. With medication and exercise, I expect you to have many healthy years ahead." I couldn't speak. Then the exam room door opened again. Eric had rushed inside. He froze the instant he heard those words. For the first time in my life, I saw genuine fear in my son's eyes. The truth exploded in that room. The doctor asked Eric why he had been speaking on his behalf. Eric couldn't answer. He kept saying he was only trying to protect me. Protect me? By convincing me I was dying? By isolating me from everyone I loved? By pushing me to sign away my entire estate, I immediately called my attorney. Every transfer was stopped before ownership changed permanently. Several signed documents were declared invalid because they had been obtained through deception. Eric begged me not to involve the police. He cried harder than I'd ever seen. But those tears weren't for me. They were for the future he thought he'd lost. I didn't press criminal charges, but I removed him completely from controlling my finances and changed every legal document. Trust isn't destroyed in one big moment. It's destroyed one lie at a time. Months later, my health was actually improving. I started walking every morning, reconnecting with old friends, and living without fear. Eric still sends birthday cards. I read them. Then I put them away. Some wounds heal. Others simply teach you who people really are. The greatest lesson I learned is this: never surrender your voice just because someone claims to speak for your future. What would you have done if your own child had lied about your health to steal everything you worked for? Share your thoughts in the comments because I'd genuinely like to know. If this story moved you, please share it with someone who believes family can never betray family. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Family Betrayal. Sometimes the hardest truths are the ones that protect us the most.